Good morning. Hope you're doing really well. It's been a while since I've done a live on this page, so I wanted to jump on and do a live today. So if you're just jumping on, drop me a little hello. Let me know you're here. I want to talk today about a conversation that I had with one of my clients. So one of my clients, we had a conversation the other day. She just booked in to do my new program. And she said, I just want to share a story with you, Anthea. I want to share a story about something that happened that you taught me how to deal with, right? And I wanted to come on and share this information with you guys. And I know that I've talked about this before, but I want to talk about it again because I think it's really, really important to remember as you move through your journey. And as you move through your journey and you decide you want to change some things in your life, old things are going to come up to be cleared. Okay, so it's like, think of those old scales, right? Over here is where you want to go, right? So it's a bit higher. And on the other side of the scale, it's a bit deeper. It's a bit heavy. It's heavier, right? Now, as the scale goes up and up, you want to balance it out. So as the scale goes up and up on this side, it's going to go down and down on this side, right? It's going to take you deep and it's going to bring up old stuff to be cleared so that you can get to where it is you want to go, right? And that's at least been my experience. And I don't know how else to describe it to you. As you decide to change, you will be challenged to clear the old stuff that has been weighing you down and holding you back from getting to where it is you want to go. Now, your job is to clear it as quickly as possible, right? And the only way I know how to do that, and I teach this to all of my clients, is to just feel it, okay? So let's say you're moving towards being a more empowered version of you and you're wanting a new relationship. You want to fall in love with someone and share your life with someone. And then you get a memory of your past where it's an older relationship and it ended up in heartbreak or whatever it was, right? So let's say what's coming up is shame. In that moment, as the shame is coming up, if you can just accept that in that moment you feel shame, it will clear really quickly, okay? So what we're used to doing, though, when those old emotions come up is we're used to going, you idiot, I can't believe you did that. You criticize. We criticize and we judge ourselves, right? And it's counterproductive. It means we just spiral lower and lower. So in that moment, because what you're doing is you're dishonoring younger you. You're going, you're an idiot. How could you get yourself into that? Look at how it ended for you, right? So in that moment, if you can, and put your hand on your heart, as if you're talking to that younger version of you, and you say, you know what? You didn't know that was going to happen. That's all right. You were still learning and growing. Fair enough that you feel shame. But you don't have to feel that anymore. Or let's just clear that, or whatever it is you want to say to soothe yourself. So if you can accept, I feel shame right now. Okay, this is interesting. I'm just going to release it as best as I can in this moment. I'm going to let it go. Let's see what comes up next, right? If you can just accept everything that shows up for you in every moment, rather than criticizing and judging yourself. I should be feeling like this, or I should be feeling like that, or why do I feel angry? I shouldn't feel angry, right? If you can stop doing that, you're going to clear all of the past very quickly and those scales will come up and it will balance out, okay? That's why these old memories from the past come up. They come up to be cleared. They come up. If I am holding resentment towards myself about how I showed up in that previous relationship, how am I going to move forward and have a healthy relationship with someone if I'm still feeling all this sadness and shame and guilt and frustration? I'm going to take that energy with me into my new relationships and I'll hinder them. So this is why it's really important to clear that out. Okay. And so my client who I spoke to the other day, she was saying to me, she goes, I can't believe how much it helped me. She goes, I had this moment the other day where I felt all this anger. And she said, it was really cute. She said to me, she thought, what would Anthea think? What would Anthea say in this moment? Because she did my 16-week program, right? And it really transformed her. And she said, I thought, what would you say to me in that moment? And she said, just feel it and just accept that that's how you feel in this moment. And she did. She put her hand on her heart. She's like, oh, you feel sadness right now. Okay, that's okay. You're allowed to feel sadness. She gave herself permission to feel whatever it was she was feeling in that moment. And she goes, and it cleared. And she goes, and since then I've been doing it over and over again, and I've been allowing myself to feel whatever it is I'm feeling without judgment. Okay? So the more you can do that, the better you will feel. You will quickly heal the stuff from the past, and you'll be able to move forward with a clear heart. Yeah? It's really hard to enter into the best version of yourself, or a new relationship, or a new job, or whatever it is that you're trying to create, if you're still carrying that baggage from the past. So it happens often, right? It happens often that we will have flashbacks from the past. Sometimes they're brutal, depending on what life was like for you as a child. Some of my clients who've experienced extreme trauma in their childhood, they say to me, yeah, but I had this flashback. And I go, okay. So in that moment, in that exact moment that you're having the flashback, right? It's showing up for you to show yourself deep states of love and compassion, right? You were just a child. You didn't deserve that. So you put your hand on your heart and you acknowledge that younger version of you. And you say, you were just a child. It's okay. You didn't deserve that. Wow, you survived that. That's what I say to them to say. Say to yourself, wow, you survived that. You're amazing. Because little you is listening. Younger you is listening. You know, adult you is listening. Those younger versions of you, they want to be acknowledged. Okay? By you. No one else. By you. And so doing this activity, doing this exercise in the moment that it shows up, that's you doing the work. That's you healing yourself. That's you preparing yourself for what's coming next. Okay? And sometimes we are being guided to connect with someone who has potentially hurt us from the past. I just want to talk about this for a second as well. Okay? Often we are misunderstood by our parents or influential figures in our lives. Okay? So I want to talk about this for a second because I just had a conversation with a friend, and he was saying to me that he said, you know, I'm being guided to reconnect with my parents, and he hasn't been in touch with them for a long time because of the turmoil that he experienced with them. Okay? And sometimes we're being guided to reconnect with them for us, not for them, right? Because we don't really know how long we have with people. We don't really know how long people are going to be here for. And so listen to the call, okay? Listen to the call to reconnect and think about your level of consciousness and think about their level of consciousness. And often we are craving to be met somewhere where they cannot meet us, okay? Now, each generation, new generation that's born brings in a new level of consciousness. Like my children are highly conscious. They're probably more conscious than I am. And so I do my best to meet them at their level of consciousness. Now, I may never be able to fully meet them at their level of consciousness. I mean, I will try, but they're more conscious than what I am. So every generation before us has different levels of consciousness. And often you'll meet someone who has the same level of consciousness as you from a different generation. But for most of us, our parents are not at that level of consciousness, okay? So if you're being called to reconnect with a parent who has hurt you in the past, this conversation is not about forgiveness at all. Or this is not a call or a conversation where I'm guiding you to forgive them. But it's more of a conversation about if you are being pulled to reconnect with them, to find to find a way to connect at their level. And sometimes that's at a very superficial level where you can just be nice to them. It's very hard to be nice to someone who you feel resentful towards, right? But if you can find a way to show up in a mature way and just meet them where they're at, maybe that's all the relationship is meant to be. Does that make sense? I'm just going to acknowledge the people that are here. Hey, Vicky. Hey, Samantha. Hey, Liz and Tony. Angie, Debbie. Hey, Sarah. Hey, Richard. Hey, Larry. Hey, Jay. Yeah, so a balance, right? You and Richard's saying a content balance. If I can just meet you where you're at, and if I can just show up in my most mature way, which sometimes it can be really hard to do with our parents, right? We can show up as the teenager. Then, at least for me, I have a clear conscience. I may not be able to pull you in really close, right? Because of what's happened in the past. And I'm going to honor that about me. If I've had a lot of trauma and pain and heartache with someone, but I'm being pulled to reconnect with them, I'll reconnect with them at a certain level, okay? There's still this element where I feel like I need to protect my inner child. So I'm going to honor that. But I can still show up and be nice and be open and warm, right? So that's just another thing that I wanted to share. And the other thing that I wanted to share, there's all these ideas running through my head this morning about what I wanted to talk to you guys about because it's been a while. The other thing that I wanted to talk about is I was having this conversation with my cousin the other night, and we're Cypriot, and the Cypriot people are very passionate, right? We're very passionate about everything we do, right? So even the things we don't like doing, we're still really passionate about it. And so when we're having a conversation with someone and we're talking about something that's important to us, we're passionate, right? With our lovers, we're passionate. With the people we're trying to seduce, we're passionate. With our friends, we're passionate. And, you know, he was saying to me, people don't get us. They misunderstand us a lot of the times because we're very passionate in that way. And they assume things about us, right? And he's lived overseas most of his life, and he lived in Cyprus most of his life, and now he's here. And we have these deep conversations about how we relate with people, okay? And I said to him, well, we're going to keep being passionate anyway, right? Because not everyone's going to misunderstand us. And so I wanted to share this with you to invite you to be more passionate. Right? Because when you have passion, when you live with that passion, I don't know, it activates things in you. It makes you, it helps you connect deeper to all of the different energy that you can connect with, right? It makes you feel alive, that passion. And I think the most beautiful thing about it is that it activates passion in other people too. And I think one of the saddest things is to live a life without passion, you know? So I invite you to be more passionate. Ask yourself, how can I be more passionate in my life today? How can I be more expressive of the passion? Everyone has passion, right? But how can you be more expressive with that passion that you have inside of you? Yeah? I think it's really beautiful. You know, like when you go see your friend who you love and you greet them with passion and they greet you with passion, and it's like this beautiful meeting of two people who really deeply love and appreciate each other. How can you be more passionate with the people you see every day? How can you be more passionate with your lover or your partner or your wife or husband and your children? Try it. Try be really passionate, like a little bit over the top every time you see someone that you really appreciate having in your life. And I was with a friend the other day. This is a friend I reconnected with after not seeing her for a couple of years. We had a bit of a falling out and we reconnected. And she said to me, you know, you just don't know when your time's up with someone. You just don't know when you're ever going to see them again, right? Or if you're ever going to see them again. You just don't know. And she goes, what I want to say to you is, because I don't know if I'm ever going to see you again, she goes, I just want to acknowledge how much I appreciate having you in my life. And, you know, it's been an honor. If this is the last time we see each other, it's been an honor. And I was like, oh, wow. I was like, this is so beautiful. This sharing, this passionate sharing of vulnerability, of expression, right? Someone who can express to you what you mean to them. Phew, it's like, talk about intimacy. And this is just a friend, right? And so now when we leave each other, we say, it's been an honor. It's been an honor to share this moment with you. And I think we need to get used to telling people we appreciate them more and more, right? And it's okay if it makes them uncomfortable, because it's important to express how you feel about people, right? Sometimes it's not appropriate, and, you know, when you're dating and it can get entangled and messy and all that, but express yourself in a subtle way to those who may not understand you, and express yourself in a passionate way to those who know you, right? And I think one of my greatest experiences this year has been telling people how much I appreciate them. And they tell me too. And it's a really beautiful way to be. So I have this other friend who we tell each other probably 2-3 times a week how much we appreciate having each other in our lives. And I think knowing that you are appreciated in that way, it enables you to be more open. It enables you to try and express things that perhaps before you couldn't express. So, you know, sometimes you're like, I should tell that person that made me feel uncomfortable. Oh, but I don't want to be confrontational, or I don't want to rock the boat, or I don't want to, things are so good between us, I don't want to mess them up. When you build these containers with people, it creates safety, right? And so if someone appreciates you so much, they're not going to run away because you express to them a wound, right? They're not going to run away because you say to them, you know, something triggered me the other day that you said. Can we talk about it? They're going to be like, God damn, yes, let's talk about it. What happened? Tell me. I want to understand you. That's why we build these containers with people. I want to understand you. I want to be able to support you. I want to be mindful of what I say because of your wounds and your triggers, right? And when that happens, you're seen. And sometimes all the healing we need is to just be seen by another person. Yeah? Hey, Corinne. Hey, Dan. Hey, Willow. Hey, Mel. So I wonder what would happen for you if you started to express to the people in your life just how much you appreciate them on a regular basis, right? Sometimes people can get really uncomfortable with it, right? And that's okay. That's okay if you do that and they get uncomfortable, because you know what? In the discomfort, there's also appreciation. It's also activating feelings within them that they're seen. Yeah. So, you know, these people, all of us have this one person in our life who will go above and beyond, or we can go to them and they're like, sure, what do you need? And perhaps it's, you know, sometimes it's those people who will go above and beyond for everyone, who will cheer up the room, who will show love to everyone. It's often those people that have demons that they battle with alone. And when you tell someone like that you appreciate them, it does wonders for them, right? It helps them battle those demons with more power. And so you just never know how you're going to affect someone's life when you tell them how much you appreciate having them in your life, right? Or how much they meant to you. And I've done this before where I've contacted people from 10 years ago and I'm like, hey, I just wanted to tell you that that time in my life, that was really beautiful. I really appreciate having you in that time in my life, right? It's never too late to tell someone how much you appreciate them. So, you're welcome, Richard. Mel's just saying, I'm always the one everyone goes to, but no one is around when I need someone. Okay, so, Mel, I want to invite you to look at perhaps, and I'm not saying this is the case, but I just want you to open yourself up and look at how open you are to receiving. Okay? So often we are an amazing giver and we give effortlessly and we're there for people and, you know, we hold space. But often it's because at some time in our life, we decided that, or we created this belief that it wasn't safe to receive. And often what I hear is, as a child, I went to someone for help and I got shut down, or I went to someone for support and I was told to toughen up, or I was told to stop crying, or I was told to whatever, right? So I invite you to reflect and see if this is something you created as a child. And then I want you to think about how often you ask for help. So do you ask for help? And sometimes the people we help are not going to be the people who are going to be there for us to help us, right? Often it's somebody else. So ask yourself, how open am I to receiving? Because it requires a certain level of vulnerability to receive in those moments where we are needing support. And often when we're needing support, we're in a wound. We're in a childhood wound or in a teenage wound, right? And we're requiring a level of support that perhaps the people who come to us for support are not at the same level of consciousness. And that's why they're coming to you, Mel, for support, because your level of consciousness is potentially a little bit on a different level, right? And they come to you because you give them wisdom or you hold space for them. And so the people you need support from are people on a different level of consciousness to you, right? So Mel is saying, no, I don't ask for help due to the family environment I had growing up with. Okay, so this is why there's no one there to help you. Yeah, no one's a mind reader. And so this is where you have to support little you to be like, you know what? It's okay for us to ask for help now. We're not in that environment anymore. And you know what? It's an honor when someone asks you to help them. When someone comes to me like, hey, can you help me with this? I'm like, of course. Right? What can I do? And sometimes they're like, can you just listen to me express this pain? And I'm like, okay. Do you want me to say or do anything? And they're like, no, can you just hold space? And I'm like, okay. So Mel, perhaps for you, you ask someone for help, that's your growth. That's what it is you need to do. Right? And probably people bend over backwards for you. So I encourage you to take that next step. And the next time you're in a wound, ask for help, but also tell the people what it is you need, right? Because people don't know. They don't know how to help you. So what I invite you to do is set up the conversation. Hey, can you help me with this right now? Oh, yeah, what do you need? Or tell them what you need. All I need for you to do is just listen to me. Or can you just tell me if what I'm thinking is irrational or whatever it is, right? And then allow yourself to receive that. Now, the first time you receive support, if you're not used to receiving support, you're going to feel shame. You're going to feel guilt. You're going to feel like you've put someone out. That's little you. These are little you's emotions. Yeah? Not feeling worthy of having that space or receiving that support because of how you grew up. But in order for you to get used to that, this is what you have to start doing. And the next time you receive support, it's going to be a little bit easier, right? And it's actually, when you learn how to receive, it makes you a better giver. It empowers you when you receive support. And you know what? It also makes the person you've asked support from feel, how am I going to say this? It makes them feel important. Yeah. Now, not everyone's going to be able to support you in the way you want to be supported. So just be mindful of that too. Sometimes we ask for support and it hinders us because we don't get what we want. And it's often in those moments where we need to support ourselves, right? But for you, Mel, I think this is your next step. Okay, I'm going to be brave and I'm going to talk to little me and I'm going to say, it's all right, we're going to ask for support and it's safe. It's safe for us to, it's a safety thing for you. It's safe for us to ask for help now. So take that step and reach out if you need any more support in that. Just send me a message. But as children, we decide, okay, it's not safe to ask for help in this life. I'm going to be a giver, right? I'm going to support others. I'm going to support them in such an amazing way because I know what it feels like not to be supported, right? And that's why we become these amazing givers. But to balance that out, we've got to learn how to receive. You're welcome. I look forward to, well, if you ever decide to let me know, I look forward to seeing how this unfolds for you. And it's hard. It's hard if you've been conditioned not to ask for help, right? And you'll notice when you go into your wound, when you're in your childhood wound and you are feeling alone and you're feeling unsupported, those feelings, you'll know when you're in your childhood wound because it feels, you kind of think, why isn't anyone here for me? Where is everyone? I'm always there for them. Where is everyone? That's little you, right? That's little you. But adult you has to go, okay, we're going to ask for support now. We're going to change this now, little me. We're going to change this, right? We're going to learn how to ask for support because it's really delicious. It's really, really delicious when you can allow yourself to be supported. So anyway, I hope that this video has helped you in some way. Drop me a comment if it has. It's been really nice connecting with you guys today. I'm sending you lots of love and yeah, I'll speak to you guys again soon.